Yo, Smash Gang, what's up? We're here with the top 10 Dynasty QBs. We're going to drop the consensus for you. And let's go ahead and put it right here. So this is our consensus top 10. This is not the top 10 for each individual one of us. This is just the average and consensus of each of our top 10. All right, you'll see that we have Pat Mahomes as the number one consensus QB. He was number one on Riley and Will's list. He was number two on mine. And the only reason I have him at number two is because I have Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, at numero uno, solely based on the rushing floor. That's it. I know that he's a volatile running QB. He might only have 2 to 3 to 4 years in Dynasty as an asset. But I'll take those 2 to 3 years of him being an absolute stud, being an absolute monster, getting me consistent points every single week, and that's why I have him as the number one Dynasty QB asset.
I see Patrick just more consistent week by week than Lamar. I just think even with him playing a full season, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw more than 26 touchdowns next year. He missed 2 games. He's going to get back to throwing 5,000 yards. He might not throw 50 touchdowns, but I still think he's going to be in that 35 to 40 range, I think, especially with them basically bringing back the entire offense.
Yeah.
I think Lamar's just a tad down because Lamar's numbers are going to go down. So I think Patrick gets the edge on Lamar.
Yeah, same thing for me. And I'll touch base on it as we go through. I don't really buy into the whole run quarterback thing. It's hard for me to really invest into a guy who could lose that ability like that quick. If you take that rushing ability from Lamar Jackson, he's just an average NFL quarterback. If something happens, he gets a high ankle sprain, he's out for 4 weeks, and he comes back and he's not 100%, and they don't want to run him. Now you're looking at a guy who's a fringe quarterback too. It's hard for me to really, really invest in that. That's why I got to put Mahomes number one. I can't deny the upside. When the guy's healthy, when he's playing, I'd probably take him over Patrick Mahomes. But I think the safer option in that top tier of Mahomes and Lamar, for me, definitely got to go Pat Mahomes.
Cool. Let's go ahead and just jump to our number 3 consensus, Kyler Murray. I know I personally had Deshaun number 3, our consensus number 4. But Will was actually the highest on Kyler, number 2. Will, go ahead and defend your boy, the Arizona Cardinal, just absolute stud, Kyler Murray.
All right, so the main thing with Kyler, obviously, is he's getting DeAndre Hopkins. And you saw how productive he was with Deshaun. And Kyler has been getting a lot of rap because he's 5'10", maybe 5'11", 200 pounds. But this dude can sling a football. And it is special to watch. I think his touchdowns go up. He's going to get over 4,000 yards. He started out last year throwing 540 attempts. If he stays like that, he's gonna get back over 4,000, throw close to 30, if not more, touchdowns, and he can run the ball. I just think dude's insane. That offense is going to be nasty, especially with keeping Kenyon Drake around. He can dump it off. Kenyon's great in the open field. They still have Chase Edmonds if they need just a pure runner who's going to just run between the tackles and bully people. I think Kyler has nothing but immense upside. So that's why I got him at number 2.
Yeah, I had him at number 3.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had him at number 3. I think he's in a tier below Mahomes and Lamar, but this year he could easily join that top 3.
Oh wait, I did have Kyler at 2.
Or the top 2.
I got Kyler at 2.
On that top tier, yeah.
I did. I messed up. I was looking at our list.
Lay off the weed.
Lay off the weed. I know yesterday was 420, man. But come on, dude.
Splitting hairs, 3 and 4, Kyler, Deshaun. I think they both are about the same upside. Both I expect to have the same kind of play style. Run around, get some rushing. The same with Deshaun. He's the only person there to really make a play. Kyler, he's not the only person there to make a play, but the offense runs through Kyler, and he's going to make plays because he's a superstar. Say what you want to say, how short he is. Dude's unbelievable.
Yep. I think the same thing about Deshaun. A lot of the same thing we'll talk about when we get to our consensus number 5. But for me, the thing that keeps him away from that top tier is the fact that right now the Texans they're not giving him anything to work with. He's got 3 wide receivers that are all they're just going to run Hail Mary every damn play, I guess. They're just going to send everybody on 9 routes and just chuck the ball up, which I don't really think that's Deshaun's game. His offensive line is terrible. If they can build around him, I think he could jump up into that top tier. But right now, I think he's just outside of it on pure talent alone.
Exactly. That takes us into our consensus number 5, Russell Wilson. Both Will and Riley have him ranked pretty high. I'm actually the lowest on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I have him at number 7. So I just have Russell Wilson that low. Just a lot on what Riley just said. Offensive line, they want to run the football. They don't want to throw it that much. If Russell Wilson was in pretty much any other situation, almost where he could be Russell Wilson, he'd be in those top tier, highest tier quarterbacks that you're drafting. But where he's at right now, I have him at number 7, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I was a little higher on Russ than everybody. I had him at 3. I think I just don't see him anywhere outside of the top 5. If you want to say he's one of the most consistent quarterbacks. He's still going to throw 30 touchdowns. He gets his second year of DK, and even though I know you say they just run the ball, but I mean he still threw over 500 times, and he was completing 66% of his passes. I mean, no matter what, he's efficient, and they're still going to give him his chances to throw the ball. The weapons are there, I think, and he's just one of the most talented throwers in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's why I have him at 3, but as long as he's in the top 5, we're good.
Yeah, I matched right up with the consensus rankings. I had him at 5 on my board. It goes back to the same thing as Deshaun. Even if they invested in the offensive line, I don't know if Russ would jump into the top tier for me. But I think out of any of the guys in the top 10, Russell Wilson is probably the safest investment in my mind that you could make. He's probably going to cost you 2 first-round picks, but I think you know what you're going to get every single week. I don't know if the dude's ever even missed a game. I can't remember.
I don't know if you know what you're going to get every
hasn't.
single week. He has some awful games. I'm talking like he disappears. He might have been the quarterback 7 last year, but he had games where I don't even think he could have not even played. They could have played Geno Smith, whoever the backup is, because he put up one. That's why I haven't.
I mean, there are weeks where he's putting up low 10 to 15 points.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting touchdowns. It was like 1 pick, no touchdowns, or 1 pick and 1 touchdown, 200 yards.
And it's because he plays with the Seahawks. If he went anywhere else, it'd change. But
yeah, I think the one thing to kind of watch on Russ is as he's getting older, and this is kind of what I touched on earlier, how much is that rushing total going to dip? Because I think right now, the fact that he's going to pick up 30 to 40 yards rushing a game gives him a good floor, on those weeks where the Seahawks just decide they're going to pound the ball 30 times. But, like I said, as he gets older, what's going to happen to his floor?
Well, yeah, his rushing yards have decreased every year for the past 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think
it's already happening.
If you're talking guys that have a chance to rise on this list and guys that have a chance to fall, I'm not saying Russell Wilson's going to fall out of the top 10, but I think he's probably at his peak in where he's going to be in the Dynasty ranking.
Yeah, so Russ, consensus number 5. Let's go to our consensus number 6, where Josh Allen came in as the consensus number 6 top Dynasty QB. I was the highest on Josh Allen. I had him at number 5, but I need to let everyone know, if you take my advice, I go all in on complete upside players. That's all I do. Speed, big plays, rushing abilities from the QBs, and consistent running back play. So I have Josh Allen there based on the rushing. They're kind of building the offense around him. bring in Stephon Diggs, create a repertoire with Dawson Knox to have for check downs. Devin Singletary started to break out. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. And the Buffalo Bills, no one circles the wagon
like the Buffalo Bills.
That's crazy.
Great.
I think my only thing with Josh, I mean, I had him at 7. So him being at 6, I mean, it's pretty close. But, I mean, he's still yet to throw for 300 yards in a game in the 2 years he's started.
Yeah.
I know it's going to probably help a little bit now that he has Singletary to dump it off to. He doesn't worry about that wide receiver 2 since Stephon's there. So now he has Stephon, John Brown, and then I think they stuck with Cole Beasley, who's a good little slot receiver.
I think he's got like a year or 2 left on the contract.
Yeah, so he'll have a little bit more of weapons to throw to, and Singletary I think is going to be a really good back to check down to, and Stephon, we know, I mean, Stephon and John Brown, they're going to stretch the field. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can hit the targets because, I mean, he threw for 58% completion percentage last year.
Yeah.
Lowest in the NFL.
Yeah.
So if he can increase that completion percentage, and maybe he can get that 4,000 yards, throw some more touchdowns. But his upside was, I mean, he had 9 touchdowns last year and 8 on the ground, or 9 last year and 8 on the year before that on the ground, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But he also fumbled 14 times. He didn't lose all of them, but he did fumble 14 times. That's not great.
Yeah, I had him at 10 on my rankings simply because kind of what I'm saying. If Josh Allen, you know, he's young. I mean, he's going to be around for a while. But let's say he goes out, you know, 3-4 straight weeks and he's throwing 2 or 3 picks in a row. There's going to be question marks, you know, a lot. And let's say they lose 4 straight games, and I think the leash could be that short. You know, I'm not saying that they're going to go bench him, but if he goes out this year and he puts up a dud and, you know, he throws 20 interceptions and the Bills finish 7-9, 8-8, I think there's a chance, you know, they could bring in somebody to try and compete with him. And I don't know if they would beat him out, but I think if you're looking at any of the guys in the top 10, the upside is probably like a, you know, number 3, number 4 in Dynasty. But I think you know, what his floor is, I think you could, if he goes out and has a bad year, you're talking to Josh Allen that's down near like 19 or 20 in the Dynasty rankings. So for me, I would have a hard time investing in him, but I don't think you can deny the upside.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead to our consensus 7 quarterback, Dak Prescott. I don't think it lined up with Riley's ranking right on Dak at number 7. I had Dak at number 8, and Will had Dak at actually number 6. He was the highest on Dak.
Okay, so my reasoning for Dak is they tagged him. I think he's gonna have to play for that money he thinks he deserves. He was great last year. He's really been great his whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the Cowboys. Absolutely hope. I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Cowboys went 0-16 every year. Like, I'd be fine with it. But he's gonna have something to prove. He's gonna have that Kirk Cousins mentality where he's in that franchise year and he's gonna ball. He's got Amari coming back. You know, Zeke's gonna eat. Gallup's gonna be in his second year. I think that dude is a stud. He finally has an athletic tight end to throw to on a game-by-game basis, Blake Jarwin. I think nothing but upside for Dak. I think he can increase on 30 touchdowns, and he's never going to kill your team with turnovers.
No.
I know his interceptions went up a little bit last year, but he's a good quarterback. I think he's a game manager, but he can still be a valuable asset in Dynasty.
Yeah, Dak's just a good, safe quarterback to me. You know, just right there, middle of the pack as a QB1. That's just what he is to me, and I think we all kind of believe the same thing. You know, upside's there, but
yep.
Yeah.
All right, our consensus number 8. We're going to go ahead and it's Carson Wentz, another NFC East quarterback. Carson Wentz, number 8. I actually had Carson Wentz 9. Again, Riley. Oh, wait, Will right on this time. Wentz at number 8. And Riley's actually the absolute highest, probably a little biased because of his dynasty roster. I traded him to him last year. I thought Kirk Cousins was going to help me beat Will one week. Whatever.
That didn't happen. That was
anyway.
the most lopsided week ever.
Yeah. So consensus quarterback 8 Wentz. Riley, just kind of give us a quick, why are you defending Wentz so far up there?
I think as far as talent goes, I think of Carson Wentz. He can do it all. He can throw the intermediate game. He's got a deep ball that's probably the best in the league. I think it's all about I put him at 6 based on his potential as a passer. He's not going to give you a ton running the football, but I think he's in a great scheme in that West Coast offense. And when Carson Wentz is healthy, he's shown that he's an MVP caliber quarterback. And I think when you go through and you look at the list of the league, guys that have shown that they're MVP caliber quarterbacks, there's only a few that you can go get. You think Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, maybe Russell Wilson, and then the only other guy in the entire NFL besides Aaron Rodgers, that's shown he can be an MVP-style quarterback that's going to be on your dynasty team for, the next 10 years is Carson Wentz. And I don't think you can deny that.
Deshaun Watson.
Okay, maybe Deshaun Watson too. But I think the upside is there. He is always going to have a safe floor in that West Coast offense throwing the ball. And as long as they can get weapons around my guy, I think he's going to be fine. Now, obviously, think about Wentz. He can't stay healthy. And I think
bad back. He's an old man.
Yeah. Your best asset is your reliability. And right now, it's a question mark. And it definitely makes me antsy as a Wentz owner. But I think the upside is too good to deny. And I feel pretty comfortable putting him at 6.
Yeah, I like Wentz. It was last year. You would think all the way up until the playoffs, he's finally got that 16 game, played every game. Then he gets the wild card against the Seahawks.
Yeah,
it was a concussion.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it was just
that was disgusting.
That was awful.
Me and Riley, we believed in the Eagles too. We believed.
I forgot about that.
We had so much money on the Eagles.
I forgot.
Oh my god,
man.
bro! Don't talk about that game.
That was bad.
I forgot why I did. You know what? I got Carson Wentz far back in my rankings, and I forgot why. I was like, bro, why do I not like this man? And that's why.
That's money.
Dude, I lost a ton of money on that damn game.
Yeah, it was
unfortunate, bro. That's why.
Oh
my god, that's what it was. All right, bro. I don't even want to talk about this man anymore. Will, just come on, say what you need to say about Will.
I just want to say he's gonna have to grind out next year because it's gonna be. It's Miles Sanders and everybody else. He's got Alshon coming back. Who knows what? Deshaun Jackson's coming back, and Deshaun had an amazing first game of the season last year.
You got to think they're going wide out in the first round.
They have to. They have to trade up somehow. If they have the capital to trade up, to somehow maybe get maybe they can't go and get like CD or Judy, but if they can trade up and get maybe like just one of those second round, third round wide receivers, I think they have to do it. If they can get him early, then everybody projects for him. But they can't. He can't go in as JJ or Sega Whiteside as his wide receiver 1. Like that's not going to work.
No.
But yeah,
they need to draft a wide receiver.
He's going to be have a bounce back season, even though he finished in the top 10.
Will he be always Wency?
I know you can't see me, but I am cringing. Just imagine. I'm cringing.
Consensus number 9 quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I had him at number 6. And
I'm right on again.
Yeah, Will had him at 9, right on there. Yep, just like he said. And Riley had him actually at number 8. I'm biased.
Oh, you're definitely biased.
Oh, totally biased.
But he can be in that conversation.
He definitely could be ahead of Russ and Dak and Wentz. I will say this. Dak has Amari who disappears. Wentz has nobody. Russ has DK who's coming into a second year. Baker has Odell freaking Beckham. Like, easily you could argue top 3, top 4 wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe
When's the last time Odell finished in the top 20?
When's the last time Odell wasn't hurt? I'm not saying there's not risk there. I'm just saying
the
he's
year
still
before last, he was top 15. In playing 12 games, he finishes the wide receiver 15.
Had problems.
Yeah.
You just don't
missed
like
the last 4 games. I mean,
I was gonna vet check you after the video just because I only got the iPad, I ain't got the second screen. But you can't just say Odell's just bad. Like, okay, so you're gonna tell me you're gonna draft JJ Arthur-Whiteside before Odell?
No, it's not that crazy.
You're in the backyard. You got Carson Wentz. You got Baker. They're like, all right, we're the QBs. You think Baker's like, damn, I got Odell. I got Nook. Greg Ward. Come on. Hell no. So I'm just saying, Baker could easily be top 6. He's the guy. He's the man. Heisman Trophy winner, 2017, MVP NFL 2020.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't really believe that.
All right, guys, I'm out.
All right. So
but
you guys,
Baker, I mean, he can't go and throw 21 picks again. I mean, That's he's on his way to become the next Eli Manning. I mean, he might not be back because he might get 2 rings, but this man cannot keep doing this where he's just.
Yeah, I think
he had just games where, I mean, it was just tough to watch. Yeah. I didn't know where he was throwing.
Yeah.
And it does suck because he does have a terrible offensive line also.
Yeah.
But they did sign Jack Conklin, help a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably going to add in the draft.
I think they're going to add.
Odell's going to be on a redemption year.
Bro, if you just give Baker the time to throw, and he thrives. He thrives on the short passes. If you just let him throw, short, intermediate passing game to Jarvis and Odell, there's no reason the Cleveland Browns can't be a top 10 offense. Stefanski, maybe he changes it up.
And they added Hoop too, man.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Baker, consensus 10. And then we're going to round it up with our consensus 10, Goff. And don't get excited. None of us were really happy to put him there. When it gets around 10, it's just kind of like –
I mean, we got to go with a young guy that has potential in a pretty decent offense.
There he is for no reason.
I had him at 9. I mean, the guy, it was a bad year last year. He threw for 4,500 yards. What more do you want? I think he's only going to go up.
Back half of the year was actually a lot better for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was literally just playing in a stretch in the West. Like, that's all it was. He had to play Arizona, Seattle, San Fran, Arizona again. I mean, he was balling against all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it you asked me? You want me to go over like Breeze and Brady, John?
A quarterback 1 next year, but not who you'd really want for your dynasty.
Yeah, so I think obviously, when you're looking at some of the older vets, I think Drew Brees, he's got 1 year left. I wouldn't be going investing heavy in him, but when the dude's on the field, he's going to be a producer for your fantasy team. If you're a contender and this guy's on, he's on the block and you can add him. I probably wouldn't give more than a 2nd round pick, but Drew Brees, definitely solid. Tom Brady, I don't think you can deny him going down to Tampa. He's probably locked in there for 2 years. He's got tons of weapons, man. And that Bruce Arians offense, I think he's going to be able to put up numbers. And then if I had to pick one guy as a sleeper quarterback that I think can take the next step, I'm going to go with Will's boy. He actually just traded for him in our league. I'm going to take Daniel Jones.
Okay.
The Dimes?
I think I'm going to take Danny Dimes as a guy that can jump possibly up into that top 10. I believe in the talent. I think if they're going to draft up, they're going to draft him at number 6. There were tons of –
Daniel Dimes' NFL picture look
like. Yeah. If they're going to move up and take him at 6, I think they love him. I think they're heavily invested, and I think I would feel confident in buying him in a dynasty league. I love the trade that Will just made.
Yep. Speaking of trades, we got a trade video coming up very, very soon. We're going to break down about 4 trades that happened in our league very recently, like literally like an hour ago. So that's coming.
Where would you guys put Burrow and Tua in your rankings?
Ooh. Somewhere between 15 to 20.
Yeah, somewhere between 12 and 17.
I still think I'd take a couple of these vets. Like, I'd probably still take maybe like Matt Ryan, Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins over them right now.
Yeah, I had Burrow at 12 and I had Tua at 13.
Oh, wow.
Right behind Aaron Rodgers, right above Daniel Jones, Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford. I had Herbert at 17, right after Stafford.
One of the problem with them is I just don't think either of them are going into the best offensive situations. If it's Joe to Cincinnati and then Tua to Miami. If maybe Tua goes to the Chargers, maybe that's a little better. Yeah. But I just don't think either of them are going into a really great offense. So that's why they're going to probably stay down in my rankings for at least this year.
All right, cool. All right, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow Riley on Twitter. Follow Will on Instagram.
Adios.
Peace.
Okay. Throwing up the piece. Y'all can't see it.